So you've received orders to NAS JAX in Jacksonville, Florida. You go to the computer, you type in Jacksonville, Florida, you see a map pop up, and you realize just how huge Jacksonville actually is. You are not alone. I am actually a Navy wife. My husband is in the Navy, also stationed at NAS JAX. And since we found the right neighborhood to suit our needs, we really love living in Jacksonville and calling it our home. My name is Rachael Lee. I'm a local realtor here in Jacksonville, and I'm here to help with all things relocation to Jacksonville, Florida. Today we are going to go over my top 6 picks for the best neighborhoods to live in if you are stationed at NAS JAX. Now when I say top, these are purely my opinion of the best neighborhoods for the commute to NAS JAX and what I've seen my clients kind of fall in love with and find exactly what they were looking for. Usually it falls within these areas. That is definitely not an all the time, but this will be a good jumping off point just for you to start to get a feel for the different areas of Jacksonville. Feel free to reach out if you're interested in a neighborhood that I didn't mention, and we can go over that as well. You'll want to stick around to the end. I think my number 6 pick might surprise you a little bit, but without further ado, let's jump right into it. So I've broken down the 6 neighborhoods that we're going to talk about today into 3 separate categories. First is going to be our historic neighborhoods. Then we're going to get into our suburban neighborhoods. And then we're going to talk about one other neighborhood. We're going to catch that one last. That is going to be our brand new development neighborhood. So first we're going to jump into our historic neighborhoods. So this one we're going to talk about Ortega, Avondale, and Murray Hill. So these are old neighborhoods. They're full of older homes with a lot of quirks and charm, different character in that way. A lot of lush parks and mature trees and kind of well-established older neighborhoods. Now the historic neighborhoods definitely have a more small town feel. You're definitely going to have a lot more walkability in these areas, a lot more community events that happen and take place in the area, as well as just a general kind of sense of pride over where you live that comes with living in a historic neighborhood. So the first neighborhood that we're going to touch on in our historic neighborhoods is going to be Ortega. Now Ortega is a very established neighborhood. A lot of the homes are much larger, definitely has a higher price point here and feels very tucked away. Now Ortega actually has one of the best elementary schools in our area, the John N.C. Stockton Elementary School. Highly rated, and a lot of people choose to live in this area to send their children to this school. Ortega also offers many parks and playgrounds, as well as beautiful spots to stop and enjoy the river view. So from Ortega, we'll head north right up into Avondale. Now Avondale is very similar to Ortega. They have a very similar feel. Avondale is going to have a slightly lower price point than Ortega and have slightly more walkability. Avondale has St. John's Ave, which is their little kind of downtown strip with lots of different shops and boutiques and nice restaurants, places to grab a cup of coffee. A very quaint area with an upscale feel. So next we're going to jump right over to the west into Murray Hill. So Murray Hill is like Avondale's little sister. It still is a very historic town with beautiful historic homes, lots of charm and character in that way. Murray Hill is still a little bit of an up-and-coming area. The price point is definitely going to reflect that and be a lot lower than on the other side in Avondale and Ortega. There has been a ton of growth in Murray Hill over the last couple of years, and the growth continues on even now. There is currently multiple different areas of construction going on Edgewood Ave, which is Murray Hill's main downtown strip, adding in new retail spaces and new businesses, new breweries, and things like that. Murray Hill definitely still has the walkability, so most of Murray Hill is going to be walkable to that main strip. Jumping from Murray Hill right into our second category is where we're going to get into our suburban neighborhoods. Now these next 3 neighborhoods that we're going to talk about are of course going to be more suburban. Lots of chain restaurants and big box retail stores and things like that. A lot of well-established larger neighborhoods. The homes will be slightly newer and slightly larger as well. Your money may go further in these areas and you're also much closer to all of the modern amenities you would need, but it definitely doesn't have the same feel as the historic districts. Now the first suburban neighborhood we're going to talk about is going to be Orange Park. So this one is going to be, maybe other than Ortega, the closest commute for you to NAS JAX. Depending on where you are in Orange Park, it's going to be about 10 minutes from your house to the base. Now these times that I'm quoting you for commute times do not include the time that you might spend waiting at the gate. So the gate does tend to back up during heavy traffic times of day, and they open up the other 2 gates so they have quite a lot of traffic going on in that area, so you'll need to plan extra time for at least your first day to kind of learn the traffic patterns of the gate and things like that. Orange Park is actually in Clay County instead of Duval County and is part of the Clay County school system. So the public schools in this area are just fine, but they also have a lot of good private schools and magnet schools to choose from in this area. Heading south of Orange Park, we're going to find ourselves over the bridge into Fleming Island. Now, Fleming Island is going to give you a little bit more spread out feeling than Orange Park, but they are very similar in the types of homes that you'll find. Your commute to NAS will be around 20 to 25 minutes from Fleming Island. And Fleming Island Elementary School is actually one of the top rated elementary schools in our area as well, with a 10 out of 10 from Great Schools and a 92.8 out of 100 from the U.S. News and Education. So from Fleming Island, we'll go back up through Orange Park and across the Buckman Bridge to find ourselves in Mandarin. Mandarin, again, is full of all of the chains and modern amenities that you could need, and is really a kind of retail shopping mecca. I find myself in Mandarin a lot, coming from all different places in Jacksonville to stop at some of the locations there for various home goods and supplies and things like that. In Mandarin, we are back in Duval County, so part of the Duval County school system. Public schools here are just fine as well, but again, they have a lot of great magnet and private school options for you to choose from. Now here in Mandarin, we're going to be about 15-20 minute commute from Mandarin to the base, and it is not a bad view at all as you're coming over the Buckman Bridge. You have a great view of the St. Johns River every day. Now Mandarin is also going to be the closest to the beach of all of the options that we're covering today. It'll be about 30 minutes or so from your house to where your toes hit the sand. Now for our sixth and final category and neighborhood, we're going to be covering St. Johns County. So this is our brand new and further out option. Depending on where you end up in the county, you're going to be 30 to 45 minutes from the base. You may be thinking, why in the world would you add this to this list? But I have to mention it because it is such a unique spot, and I find that a lot of military relocation families do find it to be a great option and worth every minute of that commute. Now, St. Johns County is where you will find the largest concentration of new build master plan communities in our area. You have Rivertown, Silverleaf, Bartram Ranch, Beacon Lake, Shearwater, Trailmark, Bannon Lakes, and that is really only scratching the surface of all of the community options in this area for new builds. Now, these neighborhoods are filled with family-friendly amenities, pools, gyms, parks, playgrounds, and they always have a ton of community events going on within their individual neighborhoods and in the larger St. Johns County as well. Now, this area really draws in young families because it is, of course, part of the St. Johns County school system. Now, this school district is actually one of the best in Florida, and some say even in the nation. I will put a link down below for you to read more about the St. Johns County school system if that interests you. But like I said, the school systems, and then couple that with the ability to get a great deal on a new construction home, which all around kind of comes with less headaches than an older home, have made St. Johns County a really popular option for a lot of my relocation buyers. Many of the builders are offering crazy incentives and closing cost credits, as well as offering much more competitive rates than most lenders can right now. I'm going to put a link down below to my video on new construction pros and cons, so if this sounds like something that might be interesting to you, go ahead and watch that one and then I'll clarify that for you a little bit more. So that is going to wrap up this video for my top 6 best neighborhood choices if you're stationed at NAS JAX. Now, I'd love to hear what you think. Were you surprised by any of these? Did any of them stand out to you over the others? If you have any other questions that we can answer, we would love to do that. Our contact information will be down below as well as here on the screen. Feel free to reach out. We would love to help you make this relocation process as enjoyable and stress-free as possible. Congratulations to you and your family on your exciting new Jacksonville orders. It is a great place to live, and we can't wait to have you here in Jacksonville. So until the next one, we'll see you then.